Welcome back to Property Panorama. Now, it's no secret that Croydon is not only one of London's largest boroughs, but has also enjoyed soaring house prices since 2000, going up a whopping 30%. So it's very exciting that one of our correspondents at Property TV, Holly, was invited along to the launch of a new project called Inspired Homes. Holly, thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, you went along, of course, to this launch. Tell us more.
Well, when I went there last week to the launch, the project itself is absolutely unbelievable. I went and interviewed Martin Skinner, who is part of Inspired Assets Management, and he told me all about this £25 million building they've just purchased, which they plan to turn into 227 apartments for starter homes, first-time buyers. Right. So it's very interesting for myself because I'm part of that target audience. The facilities are really gorgeous. Yoga studio, rooftop bar with personal room service to your apartment. Wow. So a few of my favourite things.
That sounds brilliant. Well, let's find out more. Let's see what happened when Holly went to chat to Martin Skinner.
Holly Finlay, and I'm here tonight in Croydon at the Inspired Homes launch. The atmosphere is absolutely buzzing, really exciting evening. I'm going to go and talk to a few key people involved in putting this project all together. So I'm here with Adrian Bingham. Can you tell us a bit about how you got involved with the project and how do you fit in?
Well, we're involved with providing legal advice to Inspired Assets. We work with them on various projects. And yeah, it's a real pleasure to be here and to see what's going on at Impact House.
So I started off as an IT guy, I guess quite an entrepreneurial IT guy. I set up and sold my first business just after university, worked for a bigger IT company, the one that bought mine, for 3 years, and I started building up a portfolio of professional house shares, having come at property from a consumer perspective, rather than maybe a historic property perspective. So I looked at what people could afford, and I looked to design a product that satisfied that affordability limit, and built a social network around their lifestyle preferences. So, you know, we look to, if I can find it, we kind of look at housing from a technology and society perspective. We want to make it really easy to live in our apartments and really rewarding so that people get more from less, and that also means that we earn more, which means that we can expand faster, we have a higher margin of safety on our projects, and it's a win-win. We also look to provide a lot of the facilities that maybe would be built into bigger apartments, but where people really only come and sleep and then go off to work again. We look to provide those in a more socially effective communal space. And the actual apartment, it caters for 2 to 4 people with 1 or 2 bedrooms. You can have 15 to 20 friends around, no problem. But then if you want to use more space than that, you have the residence, 10th floor sky garden with a big electric barbecue, and we'll foster a sense of community that way.
So guys, tell us a bit about the project and how you're involved.
Well, after you, Tracy.
We've been involved right at the early stages in making sure that the developer reaches value for money on this service charge so that it's affordable. We can maintain the high standard of the buildings on their behalf to actually see the residents in and again give them value right at the early planning stages to identify any issues before the residents and the selling process begin.
Inspired Homes is all about making the residential sector much more accessible and affordable to traditional working Londoners, IT professionals, accountants, lawyers, the backbone of London. We design them more efficiently so that they are affordable by design rather than by sort of government diktat. We do them to a very high specification, and we build in lifestyle facilities that make them a better, happier place to live. So we focus on greater and commuter London, in areas where we have very fast transport links into central London, and usually where there's a very good shopping facility and amenities nearby. So we have 5 projects in Croydon, we have 1 project in Sutton, we have 1 in Epsom, we have another one coming in Swindon, and we're looking at various other different locations in and around Greater and Commuter London.
Okay, so this is a office to residential conversion that we're doing. It's one of our specialities. We've got 3 or 4 other developments in the area around Croydon, which you can actually see from up in the roof up here, just over there, which I've been pointing out to a few people. And so what we do is we buy old office blocks that have a little bit, could do with a bit of loving really, and we convert them into compact luxury flats. So the idea is to have flats which are a little bit smaller than the standard side, but we have a really high-end finish and we maximise the use of space. So that means that the flats are more affordable, so people can get onto the market and have a high-end finish. So our flats are based, the interiors are based on Candy and Candy, the Candy Brothers designs. So they're really nice interiors, very nice finish and more affordable, which opens us up to a larger market.
So tell us a bit about how you're involved with the project and your role.
Yeah, absolutely. So as head of capital markets, my job is to look after the investment side of things, so really the money in very simple terms. And what I do is I work with the rest of the teams to ensure that we have all the budgets up to date to then go out and raise the money that we need in order to build the project.
Well, this is our biggest ever deal, and it was a real battle. You know, we had to lobby government quite intensively to get them to extend permitted development rights for office to residential, because the financing markets dried up as the expiry of that particular policy got closer. It was a real battle for everybody in the business. So this is kind of, in part, thank God we got it done. And it's also to promote now that we've built the business and we have a project that's big enough to attract bigger investors so that we can roll this affordable private housing model out further around London. The problem with affordability and supply, which is the underlying issue, is that if you have to build apartments that are of a certain size based on a historic way of living, then they can be sold in an undersupplied market for typically comfortably north of £500,000 each. For someone on an average £40,000 a year salary in London, that means that they'd have to have a £250,000 deposit. Now, I didn't ever have that as a young professional. Really you only have that if you have a very wealthy family, inheritance, or you've sold a business. And that's why the average first-time buyer age in London is now 40. So we look to bring that age down by making smaller, more efficiently designed apartments. So you live in them, you wouldn't know that they were smaller, but they are. And ultimately that means that they can start from about £265,000, which means someone can buy one with a £25,000 deposit. Big difference, 250 and 25. And we design the facilities to be cost effective, low maintenance, but high value add. So typically your mortgage, your service charge, and your utility costs would come within a budget of about £750 a month, which is what I understand to be the average sort of disposable income for housing for 90% of working Londoners.
I've met so many interesting people involved in this amazing project. Back to you at the studio.
Oh, that looked like a fun party. I love a good property party.
I know, I've heard you like a good hobnob.
Well, I like a good glass of champagne. Well, sadly, that's all the time we've got left for this week's show. But don't miss next week, as we'll be talking to estate agent Carter Jonas, offering you property tips and advice.
And don't forget, we do love to hear your comments and your views. You can tweet us at @PropPanorama. Please do get in touch.
Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.